grace abuse problems hidden from public view, while at the same time stridently attacking the Roman Catholic Church for its clergy abuse problems. And I thought, no, that doesn't wash with me. This is two-faced hypocrisy, outrageously hypocritical double standards. And I'm sorry, I'm going to make sure that the public know that Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein is who she is, and that she's in fact, covering up as much as she can Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual misconduct, or indeed non-clergy sexual misconduct. She's trying to keep pedophilia and rape hidden, at the same time that she's stridently attacking the Roman Catholic Church for its clergy sexual abuse problems. And as I said, there were previous instances of Peace Bang behaving very badly. I'd come very, very close to trying to out her previously, but decided not to bother. But this was the absolute last straw, where she was, stridently attacking the Roman Catholic Church for clergy sexual abuse problems, while at the very same time covering up and hiding the Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell case by deleting all of my comments about it, and also by deleting my comment about her parishioner Richard Buell and sending me an email demanding that I don't talk about it. So that was it for Peace Bang, and so I proceeded to out her as Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein and show her hypocrisy and so on. So that's the story of my outing of Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein as Peace Bang, and Peace Bang as Reverend Dr. Victoria Weinstein. And the funniest thing too was, as a result of outing Peace Bang as Reverend Weinstein, this made me the evil person in the eyes of most of the Unitarian Universalist bloggers. It wasn't Peace Bang who was evil for incredible hypocrisy and covering up Unitarian Universalist clergy sexual abuse of the worst kind. No, I was evil for outing her and criticizing her for it. Anyhow, we'll continue with our little protest here, and probably wrap it up soon. Let's just see. We got 20 minutes into the second half hour. So we'll keep it up for another 10 minutes or so, maybe even less, and then we're going to call it a day. I've been protesting now for about 50 minutes, a bit longer, and a fair number of members of the church have seen me. I've had one interesting interaction with a member of the church, one interesting interaction with a non-member. So pretty good Sunday protest. It's a beautiful, sunny, albeit crisp December day, but there's no snow on the ground yet, where it looks like we're heading for a green Christmas, barring some meteorological miracle, which brings us 10 inches of snow before Christmas, which seems very, very unlikely. So it looks like a green Christmas on our way here. Just 4 or 5 days away now, it being the 20th of December 2015. So the solstice is in a couple of days, and I'm not sure if the church is doing a solstice ritual. I think it might be. The Unitarian Church of Montreal for quite some time now has held a solstice ritual on or very near the winter solstice, so I may come back and protest on Tuesday or something if they do that, but this is probably my last protest until the 27th of December. Anyway, it's been pretty good one, largely uneventful, other than the two interactions. A police car did drive by, but didn't in any way intervene. Essentially, the SPVM has very sensibly decided that the best thing to do is to just stay out of it. The membership of the Unitarian Church of Montreal have repeatedly called in all kinds of bogus complaints to the police. Even outright false complaints that can be proven to be false. And the police have shown up over the years, dozens and dozens of times. It's probably measured in the low hundreds of times that SPVM police have been called to and showed up at the Unitarian Church of Montreal. If we go back to, this protest began in 1998, in May of 1998, and there have been some periods where the police came almost every weekend I was protesting, spread over some months. There's also been times where there's been very little police activity, but I haven't actually been counting exactly how many times they've shown up, but it's at least several dozen police interventions since my protest began, and it could very well be 100, 200, I don't know, about 300. Yeah, it might be pushing the limits, but it's not impossible that more than 100 and possibly even more than 200 times there have been SPVM interventions in my protest. And in a certain number of them, the police have behaved quite badly. In the last several years, I've posted videos of some of the bad interactions with the police, notably in 2012, there were 3 very foolish interventions on the part of SPVM police officers, where in each case they abused their power in trying to, demand that I leave, stop protesting. On 3 different occasions this happened. The police showed up, and after introducing themselves, the very first thing they said was, you have to leave. And then, of course, we got into a discussion of, why do I have to leave? I have a right to be here. I'm protesting. And they came up with all kinds of ludicrous excuses for telling me I, couldn't protest. So those videos went up and did not reflect very well on the SPVM. And they, I think, largely as a result of those 3 videos, more or less stopped coming in 2013. But then in 2014, beginning of 2014, I was protesting. The very first Sunday in 2014, I was protesting, and one of the church members barged right into me, delivered a body check that knocked me right off my feet onto my butt in the snow. And I actually did not call the police. I debated doing so, but I didn't feel it was urgent. I wasn't going to call in an emergency 911 call. I said I'll deal with that later in the week. I'll decide what I want to do. Even just call up the police and say, what do you think? Is this worth pursuing or not? Well, about an hour later, the police showed up. 2 cars, 4 officers, and I was being accused of knocking a woman down to the ground in front of the church. So here it was, I'd been assaulted, I'd been knocked on my feet, I had video footage of everything that happened, and an hour later the cops arrive and I'm being accused of assault. So that didn't fly very well with me. Now, the police officers in question were actually, on the whole, pretty reasonable. I mean, one of them was accusing me of knocking someone down in front of the church and claiming that they had eyewitnesses, somewhat aggressively. And I said, well, no, actually you don't. You can't have eyewitnesses to something that didn't happen. So, but what he was saying was the police had been told that there were eyewitnesses to my alleged assaults, which meant that there were accomplices to this false report to the police. It wasn't just one person saying that they'd been assaulted. It was, you know, 2 or more people colluding to try to have me charged with an assault that did not happen. So thankfully, you know, I had video evidence of what happened to me and also what did not happen. And the church had recently installed this surveillance camera up on top. So yeah, you know, when the police arrived, I said, well, you know, that video camera up there might well have recorded what happened. You know, so since you guys are here, since I was actually assaulted, and since it seems that I'm being falsely accused of assaulting a woman when in fact the exact opposite happened, you know, since you're here, you know, I hadn't been planning to call, but you know what, you're here, I want to charge Margot Ellis with assault on me, and I also want to charge whoever is falsely accusing me of assault with public mischief, because it is in fact a criminal act to make a false report of a crime to the police. This is a criminal act to, you know, falsely report a crime to the police. It's similar to a false fire alarm being a criminal act, and so on. So since I was being falsely accused of assaulting someone, and since I'd actually been assaulted, and since the police had shown up as a result of this false accusation, I said, you know what, I want this person charged with assault, and I also want the person who called in the complaint to be charged with public mischief for making a false report to the police. The police were actually quite good in taking my complaint, and it went very well, but unfortunately the detective who was assigned to handle that case essentially balked at going any further with it. She refused to bring assault charges against Margot Ellis, even though there was video evidence of her knocking me right down to the ground on my ass. She refused to do anything about the false complaints to the police. Basically just refused to do anything, so it didn't go anywhere. But the upshot is since then the police interventions have been absolutely minimal, and the police have been much more polite and professional, and pretty well